Calcio mercato is over since a few hours, and honestly, for us Juventini, it leaves a bitter taste. Some of us are extremely angry. We are speaking about one side, the arrival of Lloyd Kelly. That was not the dream name that a lot of Juventini wanted in the beginning of the season. And then you say goodbye, and that's what we'll focus on. A definitive goodbye to Nicolo Fagioli that is leaving for Fiorentina. Official in the last minutes of a calcio mercato. Where do you start a video like that? It's extremely difficult. Where do you start? In saying goodbye to the number 21 of Juve. You can take a lot of point of views. You can start with the point of view of the player. You can start with the point of view of the club. A business-minded one, a hard one, the one of the mass, of the supporters. It's tough. It's really tough. Look, I will try to analyze and be as complete as possible, not going towards the story of Fagioli at Juve, because you know it really well, but about the moment, what he could have been, and how he leaves Juve. I start with the heart. It's extremely difficult to say goodbye to Nicolo. Seriously. It pains a lot because we are speaking about much more than a 23 years old player. We are speaking about an icon that was representing the dream of millions of Juventini. Young ones that dreamt to have the same career as Nicolo, arriving at 14 years old in 2015, burning all the steps because you were the best one. Described like that by your teammates, by your coaches, and even by Massimiliano Allegri in 2018 before leaving Juve, saying, this guy, what a football IQ. Burning steps. Getting every day closer to the dream that he had, the dream of a Juventino. Going with the first team, playing with the first team, winning a trophy. You remember that beautiful picture of him in the sky there with that trophy of the Coppa Italia. Before that first goal against Lecce, deciding the game, winning the game. That fantastic performance this season against Leipzig, where we all say, he's back. The one that we dreamt to have as a starter in our team. That Italian one. The one that is, let's say, one of us. We all want to be represented by Nicolo Fagioli. We all want to go to the store and buying the shirt of Nicolo. Of course, I bought the 44 because I was impatient. And then a few days later, it's going for the 21. Do I regret to take the 44? Absolutely not. I don't blame Nicolo for that. I was happy to have that 44 to anticipate because I really wanted that shirt of Nicolo, the number which he scored his first goal in Serie A with Juve. It's hard to me, really, seriously, also because it's the very first player that I had the opportunity to interview. I was not the main host back then on Twitch. I was together with Leo and with Enrico Zambruno that was leading that interview, but I remember how nervous and excited I was at the same time when Juve, they messaged me telling me, Beppe, we have the green light, we have the very first team player that you have the opportunity to interview. I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't have a lot of opportunities to ask questions because I was not the main host. So I was thinking, what can I ask? And I was that nervous that I actually asked really normal, common questions. The one that I remember was like, for example, the number. What is the number that you would love to wear one day at Juve? And without hesitation, he told me the number 10, with sparkles in his eyes. Of course, that number 10 as a Juventino is extremely important. A dream of him. Winning trophies, playing with the first team, scoring goals, and having that number 10. That would have probably be the peak, the ultimate peak of Fagioli. Then I asked him about idols, and he told me, Beppe, Del Piero, my first idol, Dybala, another idol, two number 10s of Juve. And then he told me, then when Paolo left, Modric. I remember him exchanging the shirt with Modric. That was another really beautiful moment. I remember I did a short about it. Look, it hurts. Really, seriously, it hurts me. A player with up and downs, unfortunately. The dreams that didn't come true. Not all of them. Some partially, yes. Not all of them. And probably not enough to stay at Juve today. Thiago Motta said, not so long time ago, though probably the only time that he spoke about him, the other ones are running faster. The other ones are training harder. The other ones are giving more. And it's probably correct. Nicolo Fagioli was probably not in the mental state to give you the same as the other ones were giving. But probably we don't have another player like Nicolo Fagioli in terms of potential, in terms of technique, an intelligent player, one that is thinking faster than the ball, one that is thinking faster than the legs, one that is thinking faster than all his other teammates, a player that was there with some magic. We said Paulo Dybala, Alessandro Del Piero, Modric. Well, a player from a superior level. I watched him with the youth. I watched him with first team. I can guarantee you that he's a fantastic player. And if Nicolo Fagioli can play in a relaxed mode, in an environment like maybe Fiorentina, I am extremely sure that we will be here regretting and saying, how on earth is it possible that we did that mistake? Look, if I was able to see it, I can guarantee you that Juventus was able to see the qualities. Not only Massimiliano Allegri in 2018, but also Thiago Motta, also a Giuntoli that I remember when there were some talks about who can go. Can we trust Nicolo Fagioli to go to the Euro when Spalletti was asking? Cristiano Giuntoli said yes. Yes, even if he's not playing at the moment, he will be back on time. And you can count on him. Just to tell you how much we believed in that potential player. What hurts also the fans is especially where he's going to. He's going to Fiorentina. Unfortunately, we need to speak about Fiorentina like a direct opponent, a competitor for the top four. They did a fantastic mercato. Dur, Zaniolo, Fagioli, and other ones. They did a really beautiful mercato, adding on top of Moiskin and Palladino. That probably both of them were decisive in the choice of Fagioli. I have wished, because I knew, I have not been surprised that he would have left. I told you always here on the channel, even before Mercato opened. But until the last moment, I hoped, I prayed for him not to go to an Italian team, not Napoli, like there were some talks about in the past. Not Fiorentina, but maybe Marseille, maybe Leipzig, maybe Dortmund, maybe some English team that were on the player, Everton, if I'm not wrong, and two other ones. Palladino and Moiskin were stronger than Beppe in bringing him there with the Viola. It's annoying because we also know that the stories with Fiorentina are always harsh. When we want a player, we need to wait until the very last day, and they don't change the price, while we give them players for quite cheap, because it is cheap if you are looking at the value that he's going for. Like Moiskin. And the last goal with Viola is showing really that victory goal, that 2-1, is showing also that probably it's a mistake. Speaking about young players that are leaving the project at the moment, Moiskin is another one that probably has the same destiny as Nicolo Fagioli, and probably that's why he has been so important. Look, I have done exactly the same path as you. I started with a youth academy. I was there, applauded, loved by the fans. Then I left, I came back, I tried again, and it didn't work. Look how happy I am today at Fiorentina. And probably Fagioli thought about it. I did all the way. I went away on loan. I came back. I was at the top. I was applauded. I was loved by the fans. I had a huge, big stop. A stop that we cannot blame Juventus for. Absolutely not. A stop that is probably the turnaround, the decisive turnaround of Nicolo Fagioli's story in Bianconero. We are speaking about, unfortunately, the gambling addiction, that problem there that actually changed totally Nicolo in the eyes of a lot of people, not in the eyes of Juve at that moment, that gave him support, extending his contract, hoping for him, waiting for him, telling him, we wait for you. A Nicolo Fagioli that had to fight against two demons. That one, the most important one, and then also fighting to come back in what he was in that Lecce game, for example. Was he able to do it? No. We saw it this season, two flashes that I remember. Leipzig, Lazio, second half against a 10-man Lazio. Not more than that. A lot of games where he was totally not orientated in the game. He was not focused in the game. He was lost, probably thinking too much, overthinking. I told you, a player that is thinking before the other ones. A player that is ahead of all the other ones. And probably also there, a person that is cerebral, that is a brain person, probably too much thinking. More and more and more, he received less and less and less minutes, going totally out of the project. He said it yesterday while leaving. Marseille has been there since the beginning, so we know it. These talks have affected also Fagioli, that took a decision at a certain moment. A lot of my people are gone at Juventus. We're speaking about Rabiot, about Chesney, about Danilo, the last one, about Bremer, that unfortunately is not there because injured. Fagioli has always been one that needed to be protected. Protected, being part of the team, feeling part of the team, feeling loved by fans, but also by his teammates, and probably with all the changes. But an Allegri that is not there anymore, with all these changes at Juventus, probably he was not anymore protected. Of course, players, they need to think about the team, about themselves, in a Juve that is looking for an identity that is lost. And probably also this hurted Fagioli. I lost my identity, I don't know where I am anymore. And then he leaves. Fagioli leaves for 19 million euro. Can we say that? It's actually a strange calculation. 2.5 on loan until the end of the season with an obligation to buy. That is already set at 13.5, where you arrive at 16 plus 3 of bonus and 10% of resale. So we can go towards a 19 million euro. If you are counting everything, maybe 20. From a business point of view, it's all plusvalenza. It's all profit, which is important for Juve, yes. Especially if you keep a player like Andrea Cambiaso. Maybe if Cambiaso would have left, maybe Fagioli would have been here today. Could be. Sliding doors. Fagioli that pushed to leave, to feel better, to have that renaissance, a word that sometimes they use in Firenze. Renaissance, rebirth. Look, I could speak here for hours and hours and hours. It doesn't finish like I wanted. The dream doesn't finish like I wanted. I understand the club that said the player, he wants to leave, he asked to leave. He's maybe looking for, we keep you, Fagioli, we give you that number 10 shirt on the field, we believe in you, we are next to you, and whatever promise you will have, we will always be there. And probably Juventus in that moment cannot give that to Fagioli. So it's right that he goes to a team that can give him that rebirth, and that's the best that I really wish to Fagioli. Not against Juve, but for the remaining other games of the season, the 36 other games of the season, if we are not playing against them in Cup, I really wish him the best. Nicolo, this is a goodbye. I only spoke about you. For the other news about mercato, etc., we'll probably come back or with a live or with a video later today. Grazie, forza. Nicolo.